People throw around words like open standard, tool calling, MCP servers, and AI agents like that explains everything. But honestly, it did not explain anything to me. I did not fully understand MCP until I saw it mapped onto a real app. So in this video, I want to explain MCP in the way I finally understood it, not from a super technical angle, but from a practical, visual, non-developer perspective. Hi, I'm Krisa, and in this channel, I explain beginner-friendly AI concepts, AI agents, workflows, automation, and how real tools can work together inside modern AI agents in a very simple way. And today, let's talk about MCP. I want to show what MCP looks like when you map it into a real app. For this example, I have this app called Readiness AI Page Checker. The point of this app is to check, reads, and suggest how to improve a page so that AI agents could understand and recommend your product and services. The point here is to understand what MCP behaves inside the app. And the simplest way I understood MCP now is this. MCP is like a tool menu for an AI agent. Without MCP, AI mostly answers from the prompt and from the information you provided. So if I ask how should I improve the page, the AI agent would just read the page and give advice based on its own understanding or in what it sees. This could be helpful, but this could be generic. So if you want it to be more personalized, to answer better, for AI to suggest better, we need a tool for that, another tool from another app. And that's where MCP comes in. Because in MCP, the AI can do something more useful. It can check what tools are available, it can choose the right tool, it can call the tool, it can read the result, then it can use the result to give a better answer. That is when MCP finally clicked for me. I stopped thinking of it as a developer term and started seeing it as a standard way for an AI agent to use tools. The official MCP structure talks about three important parts: the host, the client, and the server. In this example, the host is my AI Page Readiness app experience, more specifically the Ask AI button inside the app, where the users can ask a question. So the host is not just a simple Ask AI button. The host is the AI app experience that the user interacts with. The client is the hidden connector layer behind the scenes. The user does not really see this part. The MCP client is the part that talks to the MCP server. It can ask, what tools do you have? Then it can call one of those tools with the right inputs. The server is my app's MCP server. In my example, that is the MCP endpoint that exposes tools from my app. And my app has multiple tools. And I want to use one of those tools to connect with the Google Search Console. But the Google Search Console is not the MCP server. The Google Search Console is the data source behind one of those tools. To simply map this, user asks a question, the app is the host, the hidden MCP client talks to the MCP server, and my app's MCP server exposes tools. One of those tools can get data from Google Search Console. Then the AI uses that result to give a better answer. What does my MCP server exposes? In my AI Page app, the MCP server can expose tools. For example, some tools can be about understanding a website page. A tool can normalize a URL. A tool can classify page types. A tool can help identify priority pages. And then there are connected tools. In my example, I connected one of the tools to the Google Search Console as a read-only data source. So my MCP server can expose tools like Site Audit GSC List Sites, Site Audit GSC Page Queries, Site Audit GSC Opportunity Pages. This may look too technical, but the simple explanation is one tool can list the Search Console site which is connected to the user. One tool can get the search queries for a specific page. One tool can find pages with impressions but low clicks. So instead of the AI only guessing from one page, it can use a connected tool to get more context and information about that specific page to have a better answer. What tool discovery looks like. This is the part that really helped me understand MCP. The AI agent does not magically know what my app can do. First, the MCP client asks the MCP server, "What tools do you have?" That is called tool discovery. Server responds with the available tools which my app has. It does not just return a random list. It returns tools, names, descriptions, and what inputs each tool needs. For example, a tool like page queries might need the Search Console property, the page URL, a start date, an end date, maybe a row limit. So the AI agent can understand this tool is for getting search queries. A tool needs a page URL. This tool returns clicks, impressions, click-through rates, average position, and a query data. That is what made MCP feel more understandable. It is not just AI connected to everything. It is more structured than that. The AI is discovering what tools are available and what each tool is allowed to do. Then what does a tool call looks like? Now let's say I ask inside the app, how should I improve this blog post? Without connected tool context, the AI can read the page and answer from the page content itself. It might just say, add FAQs, improve breadcrumbs, improve the schema, improve your intro, add trust signals. That sounds useful, but without the tool, the AI might just be recommending FAQs without knowing if those questions are actually what people are searching for. It is a guest-stressed app as an advice. With MCP tool context, the AI can ask for more information. It can call a tool like Site Audit GSC Page Query. That tool can check the connected Google Search Console data for that exact page. Then the tool can return real search data like what queries the page is showing up for, how many impressions it has, how many clicks it has, the CTR, how many impressions it has, how many clicks it has, the click-through rate, the average position. Now, the AI is not only looking at the page, it is looking at the page plus real search demand. So instead of only saying add FAQs, it can say that this page is already showing up for the search queries, but it is not earning clicks yet. Improve the title, meta description, intro, and FAQ section around the actual query patterns. That is a much better answer. Not because the AI just becomes magically smarter, but because it could find a better context from the tool that we have used earlier. Example, this is how I connect this to my AI Page Readiness app. The app can scan a page and understand things like what the page is about, what type of page it is, what buyers or readers might not understand, what trust signals are missing, what questions are unanswered. But if I connect Google Search Console, the app can add another layer. Now it can compare what the page says and what Google Search Console says people are actually searching. For example, if the page is a blog post about ManyChat comment to DM automation, the AI might already understand the topic. But with the connected Search Console data, it can also see if people are searching for things like ManyChat comment to DM, ManyChat auto-reply comment. That changes the recommendation because now the AI can see not just what the page says, but what real searchers are looking for. That is the difference between a generic AI audit and an AI agent using connected tool context. Here's the simplest before and after. Before MCP tool context, the AI says, add FAQs. After MCP tool context, the AI says, add FAQs around the real queries people are already searching. For this page, answer questions like main chat comment to DM automation, keyword triggers, Instagram replies, and set up expectations. That is when we understood the value of MCP. MCP is not just about connecting tools for the sake of connecting tools. It is about helping the AI answer with better context. What is MCP and what is API? Do we need API or MCP could stand alone? MCP does not replace the API. In this example, Google Search Console API still provides the data. The API is the data access. MCP is a standard tool layer that lets the AI agent discover and call that data as a tool. So think of it like this. API gets the data. MCP exposes the tool. The AI agent decides when the tool is useful based on that acquired data. That simple difference helps stop mixing MCP and API. So if someone says, do you use MCP instead of the API? The answer is no. MCP is the layer that makes that API-powered capability usable by an AI agent in a standard way. Another important thing I learned is that MCP does not mean every AI agent can freely access everything. That is not how it should work. A good MCP tool needs to be clear about what it does, safe with private data, permissions so the user actually consented to the connection, and useful enough to actually change the answer. In my app, that means Search Console stays read-only, and the user has to connect their own account to it. But the tool never exposes private tokens. So a good MCP tool should be clear, safe, permission, and useful. This is how MCP works. MCP is not a data source. MCP is not replacing APIs. MCP is not just a buzzword for AI agents. MCP is a standard tool layer. It helps AI apps and agents discover what tools are available, call the right tool, and use the result to answer better. And when I map it to the app, it finally made sense. The host is the AI app experience. The client is the hidden connector layer. The server exposes the tools. The API gives the data. And the AI agent uses the tool result to improve the answer. If you are still stuck wondering whether MCP is the AI, the app, or the AI itself, it is none of those. It is the tool menu that sits between them. That is the one sentence I wish someone had told me when I first started looking into this. If this helped you, like this video and subscribe for more practical agentic AI, automation, and AI-ready workflow tutorials. I'm Krista, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!